profiles are fragile. And when a profile has no fallback option, you have a problem. And what happens to your users? Their profiles will hang, or worse, they get a temporary profile, which just makes a whole lot of work for you. But here's everything you need to know to solve it. Now, before we build anything, do you actually need FSLogix? Well, if your users only need to use Office files, OneDrive does that. But if you want your users to have the same desktop, same look and feel, well then you're gonna need a FSLogix profile. And that means you need some storage, but how much? Now by default, FSLogix will give you one SMB file share. One. And that means it's a single point of failure. FSLogix has two profile types. Office profiles are just an M365 cache. They're already protected by Microsoft, so you don't need to protect them again with something like a backup. But your user profiles contain real data. You do need to back those up. And while we're here, I do need to say something. And storage replication, by the way, is not a backup. It's high availability, and that keeps you running in case the storage itself has an issue, but it doesn't protect you from data corruption or bad admins. And disaster recovery is also not a backup. So back up your profiles. Moving on. So how many shares do you really need? And where should they go? Well, that'll depend on your requirements and your risk. So if you have questions, drop them in the comments and let's talk about it. Now, if you're building a pool in East US, for example, we should have HA storage, which should mean two separate storage accounts and two separate file shares in the same region. And if you need DR, then we need to think cross regions. And you should also probably consider a mix of storage platforms like Azure Files paired with Azure NetApp Files. So that way you're protected in case the storage technology is having an issue. And FSLogix allows you to have up to 4 file shares for a single deployment, like 2 in East US and 2 in West US. So feel free to drop your questions here and we'll discuss it and help you out. Now, creating storage in Nerdio is real easy, so we're gonna speed through this. You give your storage account a name and a description, pick your resource group and location, and that should always be as close to the session host as possible for the lowest latency and the best performance. Speaking of performance, select your performance tier. Your replication should be ZRS, which is Zone Redundant Storage. Azure will replicate the shares across the availability zones, which is your first layer of protection. Next, you want to enable the file share permissions to SMB contributor. Click Next. For your join type, you can go either way, whatever works in your environment. And I've got a video on the channel for Entra shares and another one for Active Directory shares, so take your pick. And to stay on top of everything in AVD, Win365, Intune, and Nerdio, you'll want to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss a thing. Then just click Next. For the file share, remember each share should be in a different storage account, so you'll have to go and create those. But each share should get its own name and description, and then you set the size, which should be the number of users multiplied by your average profile size, and then plus 15 to 20% for growth. And here's where you grant permission for the users to access the share, and the NTFS permissions should be for FSLogix. On the next screen, this is the VM that'll be deployed to set everything up for you. So you can click Next here, add your tags, and submit, and then repeat for all your other storage accounts and all your other file shares. Now, once all that's done, you want to go down to the settings and profile management, create a new FSLogix profile, give that a name like Cloud Cache, exclude the admins here, and if you went with Entra, check this box, and if not, then leave it alone. Now, down here, you want to enable Cloud Cache first, and then for the profile paths, you need to add all of the shares that you just set up, and you have up to 4. Now, the FSLogix settings, we want to click here and set it to advanced. Then in the description, you'll find a link here to my GitHub, where I've got this file, where you can just copy and paste each section, and then I'll explain what everything is going to do. Now, Cloud Cache works differently, so let me explain. When you sign in, FSLogix will make sure that you can write out to the file shares. Then a cache disk is created on the local session host, and the profile is going to get locked, so that way they can all get to work. Now, as they write data in their profiles, it will get stored in the local cache disk. And then once it's all done, it will replicate out to the file share. And that's going to be done in the order that they are listed. And this really helps because if you ever have some kind of outage or hiccup in the network or storage, the profile will just keep on writing because it's local on the VM, and the users won't even know what happened. Now, when they sign off, all of the final replications have to be completed before the lock will get released, and then they can sign in again. So all of the best practice settings here that I've got listed for you will not only help performance, but protection for all of this. And we do have the settings that you're probably used to, like deleting local profiles, flip-flopping the directory name, and the size here, which could be set for anything that you like, but 30 gig is the default. On the Cloud Cache tab, we've enabled healthy providers required for register and unregister. So the way that this works, as long as there is one healthy storage provider, which means a file share, as long as there's one that's healthy, the user can get signed in quickly rather than waiting for all of them to check in, which helps if you're also adding DR regions. And the unregister requires only one storage provider, again, one file share to be functioning so you can finish what you're writing and get signed out, and then all the rest will get replicated. So that way you can sign out faster. Now, we also have here clear cache on logoff, which is going to save space on the local disk, basically wipe out the cache disk so that we don't leave anything behind. Now, most AVD session hosts just have a C drive, but in Cloud Cache, we're writing a lot of data on the C drive, and the more users you have signing in at once, the more writes you're doing, which is going to slow the whole C drive down. So it is usually recommended to have a larger disk for your C drive, so that way you get more performance. However, if we switch back to the all settings here, you can use the cache directory setting to move the cache disk off the C drive. You could put it on, for example, the VM temp disk, which has a lot more performance than the C drive. Or even better, for more performance, you might consider using VMs with ephemeral disk, which uses the physical storage on the Azure servers in the data center directly. And that's going to be way faster than any VM disk could ever be. Now, one more optional thing are profile exclusions. You see, Cloud Cache replicates everything in the profile, even the temp disk and the recycle bin and all the other caches from all the other programs you use. But we don't really need any of that. So the way to reduce the data in your profile and save space, which saves time and saves money, is to use this guy, the redirections.xml file. And this doc is linked in the description. And that tells you how to write the whole file, which is basically this framework. Now, first we have to exclude any common folders. So back in the doc, you see all of these different numbers here. Well, you just add up the value of the folders you want to exclude. For example, contacts, links, and music is going to equal 49. And that goes right up here. Then we have this middle section to exclude any directories that we don't want in the profile. So your biggest gains to exclude are going to be Teams, Edge, Chrome, Outlook, OneDrive, and your temp and crash dump folders, which looks like this. But when you exclude a folder, you can also add back some of the subfolders, just like this, which is good so that you copy all of your Edge passwords into your profile and you leave out all the rest of it. And this file is also out on my GitHub, so you can download it if you want to. And then paste it right in here and click OK. Now you could just use this one profile for everything for FSLogix for every pool that you have. Or you can create one profile per pool so that you keep the noisy neighbors down. And the last thing we need to talk about is disaster recovery, which can take a lot of forms. So if you're interested in a full video on DR, comment below with DR plan and I'll make that video for you. Now, DR planning starts with choosing how big of a disaster you need to protect against. So we're going to keep it simple in this video. Now, if your DR plan is to have VMs in another region attached to your original pool, then we need to flip all of these values for the file shares over so that it uses the DR side first and then the original side for the re-replication. So for that, go to your host pool, click the three dots, go to your settings, And in the middle of a disaster, you can change your FSLogix settings on the pool to use your DR profile. And it's just as simple as that. Then you'll be writing first to the West US and then replicating back to the East. So when the DR is over, you can just flip it again and you're back in business. And now that we've solved the second biggest problem with FSLogix, what about that first big one? Permissions. Right here.